Wanted to bring you some pretty stunning comments from Dr. Anthony Fauci, who basically just admitted why and how the government lied to us about the efficacy of wearing masks. Let's take a listen as he explains the real reason they told us not to do that.
What about a month or so, or 2 or 3 ago, when people were saying, you don't really need to wear a mask? Well, the reason for that is that we were concerned, the public health community, and many people were saying this, were concerned that it was at a time when personal protective equipment, including the N95 masks and the surgical masks, were in very short supply. And we wanted to make sure that the people, namely the healthcare workers, who were brave enough to put themselves in harm's way to take care of people who were infected with the coronavirus and the danger of them getting infected, we did not want them to be without the equipment that they needed.
It is
just admits
hard.
it on live television.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Hard to overstate how outrageous it is that he's just like, because he says, oh, people were saying, no. The Surgeon General and the U.S. government were saying, don't wear a mask, not because we need these critical supplies for our frontline healthcare workers, which would have been that. Like, yes,
fine. People
tell
would
us
have
that
listened
people would have listened. No, there was a whole elaborate rationales and many articles written about how masks didn't really work, so don't buy masks, don't wear masks. In fact, they may make things worse, but also, oh, by the way, our healthcare professionals are definitely going to be wearing them, which never made sense. You're like, if they don't work, then why does it matter for them to have them? It never made sense. And then it comes out, he just admits they were plainly lying to us.
They lied to us to keep supply. And you know what? If they had just been honest with Americans and said, hey, please don't buy a mask right now. We need the mask, all the professional masks for professionals. Make one out of a towel that you have laying around, an old towel, cut it up. We'll show you how to do it. Fine.
Right.
Who would not have done that? I would have done it. So would have millions of other Americans.
Right.
Instead, they lied. How many people died? And now we're actually learning. Out of all of the things, remember Fauci at the time was like, wash your hands, wash my hands 30 times a day. Not a lot of efficacy to washing your hands. Hand sanitizer. Number one most important thing, wearing a mask is what they say in crowded places. And that the method of transmission, it's not even off surfaces. It's if you're in an enclosed area where people are talking loudly and where there's not a lot of air circulation, which is highly populated. And the number one way that you can cut down on that is to wear a mask whenever you're in such an environment. And so it's just like all of a sudden, we're just like all wearing masks now. I can't even get service at a restaurant if I don't have my mask on. A couple months ago, people were just walking around willy-nilly. How many people died because of that? I just think this is the greatest public health scandal in a generation.
It really is. And how many people are still not wearing masks because of that early indication that they didn't work? And so that was part of what fed this whole culture war, wear a mask, not wear a mask thing. If everyone had been honest and upfront and on the same page, then you may have more compliance from people at this point when we do know that this is actually something that's really important, that really helps stop the spread. And as we're talking about this, we are seeing a spike in a lot of states. 10 states saw a record number of new COVID cases this week. Florida in particular is looking like a potential new epicenter. 23 states right now are seeing an upward trend in new coronavirus cases. And look, states are reopening, and this is partly anticipated. We don't know yet what the fallout from Memorial Day and then the protests is ultimately going to be. But part of the problem, too, is that people have been lied to, and they got bad information, and that is going to have a massive impact.
Lied to twice now. First on the mask, then on the protests. Not anybody, just people just whitewashing, saying, no, protests are fine, it's all good, but, you also, the fact that you had to cancel your wedding and all that still stands. So people aren't going to listen. They're not going to listen on the mask. They're not going to listen on this. And it's because the public health establishment lied twice. And now we're approaching what, I'm not saying it's a second wave, but maybe there is. Who knows, right? Like when Fauci says something,
good. The numbers aren't good.
Listen? I don't know if I trust him anymore. And so you're looking at these types of things and you're just like, the government didn't take care of its citizens economically. It didn't provide the proper public health guidance. There's still not even temperature checks in our airports, as far as I understand. What's going on? I mean, it's just a total and complete failure all around.
Yeah, absolute failure on every level. And this moment of just outright admitting we weren't telling the truth.
Nobody's paying attention.
We were lying to you.
Yeah.
We were, masks. We knew it from the beginning, but we wanted to save our supply. Absolutely
Crazy.
unbelievable.
Absolutely crazy.
More rising for you after this.